thanks Shankar for taking your time. And Shankar comes with a huge experience, like 28 years of career in IT industry. Most of us will be having same age as well as Shankar as experience. So thanks, Shankar. You came with a huge career, huge experience in managing and changing and improving the software engineering efficiency through the business, driving quality management and system. So people, if you want to know more about Shankar, we already have a link provided there in our schedule. Please feel free to go through that. You can get more insights from Shankar's profile. Without any further delay, I would like to call Shankar. Please, Shankar, the stage is yours. Please help us to understand the topic which you have. It's long-live testing, tester Zindabad. So please take the.
Yes. Okay. So fine. I think mine is. I mean, I'm not here to talk about any specific tool or any specific framework. Obviously, mine is a very generic talk, and I think because it's a testing conference and all the people are from testing community, I had few thoughts. As a testing, I've seen this testing for last 28 to 9 years, been part of the industry for a long time. So I wanted to tell that the things have gone a little different from what it was, especially with the pandemic. And then, so I want all of you to, take some sort of note about this because I mean, why I'm telling that you are all still alive, or we are all still alive, is that we can be alive. So, but there is always an attempt to make somebody dead. So my topic and abstract was more on the testing is not yet dead, it is still alive. Okay, so the tester in you has to be alive, and so the tester lives. So how does the whole thought goes? I will share it in the next 20-25 minutes, and then you can ask me questions. Is my voice audible to all, Abhay and Sujay?
Yes,
Am I
yes,
audible?
yes.
Okay. I just wanted to check whether the connectivity is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, thank you very much, Agile Test Alliance. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, the organizing team of Abhay and Sujay. I think Abhay, we have met earlier. If I don't know if it's the same Abhay of L&T. Okay, so there are a lot of I'm seeing 19 attendees here. So please feel free to interrupt me anytime. So I'll tell you what I'm going to share. So I was seeing at the job losses of the IT industry in the last 8 months. I've been working closely with NASSCOM. I've been working with all the bodies. And whenever I go and meet in any conference or I speak, whether I was looking at the World Quality Report, they're saying the manual testers is dead. Okay, the software testing, as in manual testing, is dead. But then this abstract is to tell that the software testing is not dead. So I'm here to give some ray of, not ray of hope, I mean a big ray of hope, telling that test only type of jobs are going to die. Okay, test only. So you cannot only take a religion like you are a tester and you continue to test. Okay, you may have to do many things. I think that even happened before Corona, that the tester was moving left and he was becoming a SDET, and he was trying to do some things by shifting left. So test only type of a job is something which is no more a job. So that is something which is disappearing. And so the abstract talks about it. The second point of the abstract is the testers have to skill themselves. I'm sure many of the presenters are talking about it, that how the tester is going to test with all the tools and technologies, which anyway we are going to discuss today and tomorrow, and we have started discussing about it. So testing as an activity is a backbone for IT sector. So it cannot be, so no one can deliver without testing. So testing as an activity is there, but only its place and phase has moved. Okay, so it used to come in a phase after development. Now it's coming early. It used to come in a place after developer has done. It is coming very much early. So that is the place and the phase has changed. But testing as an activity is still there. Okay, so that is another point I want all of you. So this is more of a motivating deck. Okay, I want to motivate all 2021 of you in this track, telling that, and I'm giving examples like Rome wasn't built in a day. So when Rome was took so many years to build, but it took only 6 days for Rome to be burned down in 64 AD. So this was a good example, I thought I will tell. And it was rebuilt. After that, there was the accidental fire in Rome, and the burning of the theater happened in Chicago. 600 people were killed, and all this. So why I'm putting this message is, when you're trying to build something, it takes years, but when you're trying to destroy something, it takes very less time. Okay, so it's similarly the product which is given to you. They would have taken so many hours to develop a code, but then you must have wondered, why do they give only 30% of the time to test? Because it takes less time to destroy. Okay, so when a developer gets 100 hours to code, the tester gets only 30 hours to test, because testing is a destructive activity, and a guy who wants to destroy, he does it very fast, and the process is easier to find defect. So the good news is you have a job which takes less time to find out, and you're not creating, actually you are destroying the product, and you're trying to build it better that for the next time. Similarly, the factory fire in New York, when the New York City was born, there was a fire, and a lot of things got destroyed to find out, and you're not creating, actually you are destroying the product, and you're trying to build it better that for the next time. Similarly, the factory fire in New York, when the New York City was born, there was a fire, and a lot of things got destroyed, but then people were learning from disaster how the things are moving. So that is the abstract. And the reality check I want to do is, I've been observing this industry from the time it was not even a $1 billion IT industry. I joined this industry way back in late 80s. So when I joined, they were talking about making it a $1 billion IT industry. Okay, so today, after 29 years, been in the industry for 3 decades, I see this industry has moved. Only the Indian market, the India IT industry size is $177 billion. Okay, so that's the number, which we all are part of as testers or SDETs or developers or architects, performance, whatever, And we took the NASSCOM data. From 4 million IT workers are there on the rolls. That is 40 lakh people. But I'm told with unorganized sectors and small gig economy, that could add up to 20, 30 lakhs more. We could be something like 70 lakh IT workers in the whole Indian market. Okay. Now, when we did a reality check, half of these jobs, there are people telling. I have reports from leading placement companies. I have reports from Financial Express, from UN. But don't get worried, okay? Because I'm going to tell how you can overcome that with whatever understanding I have. You can also add your points. So while pink slips are blindly given to manual testers, so if you're manual, better reorient yourself. And out of the 30% pink slips or job losses, 30% of job loss will go to the software tester community. So if there are 100 jobs lost, every 30 job will be the testing job. That is by definition also, that is the type of number of testers we have for every 100 developers. That's some ballpark figure, could be exactly right or wrong, but I kept 30. There are different news magazines talking about different percentages. Now, the job cut which Economic Times told sometime in March 2020, I have a report that every year 2 lakh jobs will be cut. Okay, so these jobs are disappearing. Okay, so the test project manager, test scrum master also has become too much like a factory now. Project manager, so all your PM, so all your middle management level of roles will slowly disappear, because 2 lakh jobs are going to become vanishing. Okay, and this is going to continue for the next 3 years, 21, 22, 23. So I'm just alerting you there. And by 2025, the UN has told 25 million jobs will be lost. Okay, so again, it could be lesser than that or more than that. Let's not worry there. But these are the type of data no one tells you, everyone shies to tell you. So I thought, let me tell you the facts. By 2021, only Financial Express has reported 4.8 lakh jobs will be at risk. Okay, and these are the jobs where people who have not embraced AI, ML, who have not embraced IoT, who have not embraced Python or scripting or programming, and they are still thinking something will happen in testing, and they're trying to do, and even people who have not learned automation tools and all. So those are the type of people who have to upskill themselves. There is a very interesting fact that many of your positions which you're asking and the openings, I checked with LinkedIn.com and their HR heads, and 30% of the HR heads have decided to have a mix of 70% full-time and 30% part-time. And this is a very interesting data you have to take, because crowd testing has become so popular and the gig economy has become so popular that the entire testing, which all of you are doing as a full-time FTE or full-time engineer. So there are times when they want to get some niche work done. They may, and it takes time to upskill, and you're not got upskill for some reason, you have not got trained for some reason. They may just post it in gig economy tester space and take the tester and get the things done. And in fact, they get a better quality because those testers try with different devices, with different browsers, and anyway, and the cost is also less to manage this economy on an hourly basis. So that is one area that all the full-time testers should also wear sometimes a crowd tester hat, or maybe they should remember that there is another community which is slowly developing called a gig crowd testing team, and that's going to be a very big economy worth billions of dollars. So my suggestion to all of you, as I'm presuming all of you are somebody who have been in the testing team for 10, 15 years, or you have joined it, I think my advice is time for you to wear the human robe. You still have to be human. You still have to do testing with a machine learning type of skill set. So this is the reality. Data is perfect from valid sources. The predictions can go wrong, but the current data is perfect. So there is also a debate which is going in the bigger decision-making forums and boardrooms. I personally advise a couple of companies, so I know whether they talk about, do we need a tester, or we ask our developers to shift right and do testing, or do we still need testers because the disasters are managed, like the Rome and the factory in the New York City, better by only testers because they have eye for detail? Or do we need a dedicated tester and then a dedicated development, or in an agile type of methodology, how do we do things? So there is a lot of research happening where younger and more innocent people are entering into testing. Innocent, why I mean is people who don't know the projection. So they are just hired for a specific role or for a specific work till the project calls for. But then there's the second project, they can't be employed. So you have to get employed for all types of projects, not for one specific project. So the Darwinian theory of the Charles Darwin theory of the survival of the fittest, applies heavily to us. So that is another message I want to share in this forum. So I'm just talking about the 7 deadly sins which we commit as a tester. So number one is don't think testing means checking. So that is the one thing which you have to take it out of your thinking hat. You have to think yourself as a business tester. You have to shift left anyway in terms of understanding more about how user stories are estimated, how the BA gets the requirement, how the Scrum Master is operating, how the product owner is giving requirement. So I think the very fact that testing happens to be one skill, but that can't be the one and the only skill. So that, because testing means to check something which has been made. Okay, so now I'm saying you should not do checking. You should co-create. You should go back, do reverse engineering, understand the domain, and tell the product owner that this is another user story we can think of. I think that's the type of mindset which you should have, and I'm sure many are having it. I've talked about this in many of the forums in the last many years, but I want to repeat it. Testing may die if the value of the products become irrelevant. So don't try to test the same product with the same value. If the same product is coming to you every year, you believe me, your testing has undergone a a natural death. You have to ask what is a new version of it, what is the business value it is giving. Okay, testing may die if the quality of testing work is chronically poor. So do a good job when it comes to testing. And if it is every time the leakage is metrics are high, the amount of defects getting into the production is still leaking high, I think the chronically there is some problem with the tester, or there is some problem with the whole life cycle. So there's always a tendency of we passing the buck and all, but at the end of the day we have to do our job well. And I myself place myself in your shoes when I'm saying all these things, because I've done all these mistakes at some point of time in my life myself. Testing may die if all the users in the world are early adopter technocrats. So that means everyone wants to adopt a new technology, okay, and the world is moving in that way that any new thing comes, people want to adopt, okay, and then that is the time you have to understand whether you have to move to that new technology or you have to learn it. What is the level of death you are facing by suffocation? That's a mild death, okay, and if the technology stops changing also, you would die. That means you're not relevant, okay, or you will not get work, you'll starve. That means you're not getting enough work because somebody has taken your work. It could be the developer who has shifted right, it could be a couple of less competent developers who didn't want to were made testers. So I mean, and the other feeling with the industry has is anybody who cannot code can become a tester. So this is a very dangerous thought. Anybody who cannot code will become a tester. So you have to dispel that mindset also. You have to dispel that myth also. So net, I think these are some of the areas which you have to be very careful when you get into this. But I'm going to take you through a small, like Mahatma Gandhi did the Gandhi March. I'm going to take you through a walk, okay? That the tester which you are today and what I've been seeing from the days of late 80s to 90s to 2000 and all. I think the tester is moving really well. And whatever presentations I'm seeing, I think the tester in you is all set to meet the machine, okay? And the magic is happening. So how is the magic happening? So when I started the classical tester, you can see in this ramp, it takes years for him to test, and he was doing the classical waterfall, and his face used to come. It used to be a Chinese wall between the developer and tester used to test and move it to production. It was a classical SDLC or a waterfall model. But then as time progressed, the tester moved from classical to agile, okay? And agile came with its principles of faster testing, early prototyping. You've been part of the Scrum team, part of the storyboard writing, part of the whole process. You were shifting left. Then the DevOps was triggering a new wave of quality engineering. You've seen that, and you're anyway trying to do that in your CI/CD pipelines. But then slowly it is going through a continuous testing process. And now it's time that you have to digitally transform yourself into things like machine learning, predictive analytics, quantum computing, and Internet of Things and robotics. So these are some of the areas where the technical complexities will move up. If you can see that rate of change of technical complexity is moving up, and the person in you is marching slowly to get that liberated view. Why I use the Gandhi March is that was a mark of a freedom. That was a mark of a freedom, and he wanted to send a message to the British that we can make our own salt. So I want you to get that what is called as freedom unlimited. You have to be free. You cannot be caged with some few STLC life cycle. You could be doing testing, but you should have embraced all these technologies. You should have shift left. And I'm going to talk about what the World Quality Report also say, what type of skills you need to possess. So net, the tester in you have to move up the value chain. So I'll tell you why the term testing is dead. I picked up for this presentation because, when there was a conference of Star West early in 2011, and I was lucky to be part of this, there was a gentleman called James Whitaker, okay, and he said testing is dead. He told it 9 years before, testing is dead. He said with the world of automation and checks and automatic things, we no longer need a manual tester or a tester. We don't need, and that sounded like, the doomsday. But then, as the fates would have overheard him, few weeks later, a bunch of Google bugs made news. Okay, so that means that something went in Google, and he had told testers not to test and release a Google patch, but the patch had defects. So that means the word testing is dead was almost like it had its own death. The statement had its own death. So from 2011 people have been challenging this profession. Okay, and I'm seeing this for the last 9 years. So this, I don't know whether the quality of this slide is coming up well. I took it from the World Quality Report. So basically, I will read out the key themes. The percentages are not important. This time quality report of 1920 is tracking data from 2016 to 24 years. And believe me, everyone or the whatever CIOs they went to, 1700 odd CIOs, they went to 20 odd domains and industry. Everyone said that I want testing to contribute to a business goal. So be a business tester. I want testing that people are trying to defect before the go live. So test early, fail early, detect early type of a scenario. User satisfaction should be there with testing. I don't want to see testers writing humongous test cases not being used by production. So are the user really satisfied by our testing because we wrote that test case which they used? That type of a correlation has to be there. Quality and security of testing has been given very high importance in testing. Okay, and testers are good, testing is good, the corporate image of the organization and branding becomes good. So this is another area you need to focus on. So these are some of the themes which I want all of you to look at when we start about testers. So my next last 3 slides will talk about the key findings of 1920 report. I'm not too sure 2021 if they have the report ready, but I was looking at the report. So Agile and DevOps, something which you all are following, and I'm sure the implementation and usage is heavy. I think that's the business driver. AI, broader skills needed for QA, move to data science, learn automation. I think you're doing that. Your projects have started doing that. I don't have time. But again, the feeling is in test data management and environment management, there hasn't been much sufficient progress. Okay, so that is where there is a big pitfall and people are trying to do it, but there hasn't been enough of success there. The last one is security and risk compliance. So the type of security testing and the risk compliance which we're doing on the business IT part is still not mature. So at the end of the day, when you are all working in your own organization, try to build a smart, connected testing ecosystem. So I think that ecosystem has to be developed in terms of analytics, in terms of your dashboards, in terms of your center of excellence is slowly also dying. People talked about TCOEs and competency centers, but then now people are not even talking about an individual testing team. So the testing team is still reporting to business now. But then even if we report to business, are we doing a good job to do testing? Are we raising the game on security? Are we raising the game on test automation? Have we learned a little bit of statistics, mathematics, or data science to become AI ML ready as a tester? What type of data science skill sets you have as a tester? So that's exactly where your other jobs which are becoming more popular, you can plug yourself in. So it is so SDET talked about it. A shift left type of strategies also talked about it, but these are some of the key findings of the report. So, and then the 12th slide, which is my penultimate slide, I'm telling that I don't know if I think the visibility is poor, but I will help you to read this. So test automation skills which you picked up is good, fine, have it. But then also have performance engineering skills. Okay, move into load testing, move into performance testing, because there you get a very different insight of how the production scenarios are. And only when you do performance testing, you will come to know more about your shift left type of upstream testing. Collaboration skills. I think many of the testers have to collaborate well. They can't work like a cog in a wheel. They have to have a 360-degree approach or an end-to-end approach. Okay, design thinking, design skills, test design skills, something you need to take interest. TDM and TEM anyway is not very much in good states. It's still in dire straits. So that's also the area which you need to focus. Security, I think you have to learn security systems. You have to know how the security layers on, how do you, and test it, try to deploy. So that is it. And more important, I think an effortless type of codings have come. Python is a good language. There are other languages coming up. I think you should try that as well. So making you a sort of a jack of all trades with testing as your specialization, where you spread on all, but you have deep in one, will be a good idea. So I would expect all of you to be a T tester, T type of a skill set, where you are deep in knowledgeable in testing, which is the letter of T, and you have a broad knowledge of everything. So the T type testers or the career testers is the need of the hour. Okay. So these are some of the thoughts I have. But I'm not saying it's very bad, but yes, if you work on all these concepts and principles, you don't have to wait for your manager to tell you to do all this. I think you should start working on all this at your own level. Make your own career plan for testing. Believe me, in the next 4 5 years, you will see yourself more relevant, more acceptable, and when you apply for a job in testing with all these skills, I think the employer will be interested to talk to you. At least he will have a conversation or discussion. But today, if I take the LinkedIn data, I'm seeing only the testers who have not moved to the skills and they've lost their jobs. And I meet personally many people day in and day out, and I tell them to do this, and I thought, let me also tell the same thing. Okay, so these are some of my key thoughts. Now, I want all the attendees to do a small exercise with me. Can you put your video on for a while? I want to see all of you for 2 minutes, the last slide. Can you put your video on if you're comfortable with that? All of you.
Guys, if you're comfortable, please feel free to.
If you're comfortable, yeah, obviously, you could be at a different context. Can you put the video on, because I'm going to take an oath the next 2 minutes and make you a proud tester. So can you please unmute yourself and put your video on? I want to see you taking the oath. Just for the last slide.
So just
we are not seeing the video still. Okay, let me see. Maybe I'm not able to see.
We have a couple of videos on, but I think people are a little bit shy to.
But unmute yourself at least. Unmute yourself, because I want you to. When we take an oath, I have to hear them. So even if your video is off, at least unmute yourself and read with me the 10 commandments for testers and Zindabad. Okay, 10 commandments. You have to read with me. Okay, I will read it. I have to hear you talking about it. That's the way you develop this. So could we start this exercise? This is the last slide for the day. Okay, so I'm going to say, first commandment, I am the tester. I am proud. Very good. I'll complete it and then you can all, 16 of you can tell. I am the tester. I am proud of it. I own the product. I can somersault it. Can I listen?
I am the tester. I am proud of it. I own the product. I can some result.
Very good. Very good. I heard only one person. I want it to be heard as a chorus. Oath is taken in a chorus. Okay. The second one, let me see if it's more people joining. I am proud to be a tester. I can shift left. I can shift right. I can shift up. Though I am shot by the customer, I am the proud postman.
I'm a proud
tester.
To be a tester, I can shift left, shift right, shift up. Though I am shot by the customer, I am proud postman.
Very good. We are going to the third commandment. I am the customer advocate. I am at the center of the universe. Repeat it.
I am the customer advocate. I am at the center of universe.
Good. That's the spirit. That's the spirit to enter the new year. I test because I love. I test not because I don't know how to code. I test because I love. Yes. Fourth one. Repeat.
I test because I love. I test not because I don't know how to code.
Yes. They are making your position very clear to your organization. I test because I love. I have arrived. I can work with machines. I can work with them in tandem, harmoniously. Fifth commandment. Repeat with me. All of you. Huge noise.
I test because I
Just
love.
because
I
I
have
love, I
arrived.
have arrived. I
I
can work
can
with
work with
machines and
machines
work
and
with
work
them
with them in tandem harmoniously.
harmoniously.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I am all along the software delivery chain. You can see me from concept to finish, right from the beginning. I am there. I am all along the software delivery chain. Repeat with me.
I'm all along the software delivery chain. You can see me from concept to finish, right from the
Right
beginning.
from the beginning, yes. Seventh one, I am the Shiva. I am the Shiva. I am the destroyer. I destroy the product and help the Brahma. Brahma is a creator in co creating it too. I am the Shiva. I can destroy the product and help the Brahma. Repeat with me.
I am the Shiva, the destroyer. I destroy the product and help the Brahma, the co-creator. Creating it too.
Wonderful. Thank you. Eighth one. I don't have a religion. I don't have a religion, neither manual nor automation. I'm learning it all. Try me out. Give me time. I can help and will help. This is
I
the eighth
don't have a
commandment.
religion, manual or automation. I'm learning it all. Try me out. Give me time. I can help and will help.
Good. I'm a generalizing specialist. I'm a generalizing specialist. That means the T type of a structure. I'm a generalizing specialist. I know
I
testing,
am a
but I know things
generalizing
else. I'm a
specialist.
generalizing specialist. Take this commandment. I'm a generalizing specialist. Last commandment for the day. Feeling a proud tester. I am the king. I am the context imperial king. At the stroke of the midnight, when the whole IT industry is seeing job losses, no one can touch me. I have embraced the future. I have seen the futures. Testers, Zindabad. 10th one, repeat, all of you.
I am the king. I'm the context imperial king.
I am the king. I am the context imperial king.
At
At
the
the
stroke of
strong of
midnight,
midnight, when the whole IT industry is seeing jobless,
no one can
no
touch
one
me.
can touch me. As I have embraced the future, I have seen the future. Tester Zindabad.
Okay, good, good. Give a big hand. Unmute and give a big hand to yourself. Pat yourself on the back and
Thank
start the
you.
new year with this code. You will be
Yeah.
successful. That's what I can say. Okay,
So
so I am done with my presentation.